Welcome to Money Talks. My name is Tosin Abayomi.
And I am Ayola Kilichi, as always.
And now the transfer window is short, and Ayola will be giving us a breakdown of how Nigerian players performed. There were a lot of moves involving Nigerian players. Ayola, explain.
Yeah, there were a lot of moves, especially on transfer deadline day. Of course, we saw Samuel Chukwueze complete the loan move to Fulham from AC Milan. Hopefully, he has a better time in England than he did in Italy. We also saw, of course, Tola Rokudari completely 26 million euro move to Wolves from Genk. That was one of the bigger moves involving Nigerian players. In fact, it was the second biggest move involving a Nigerian player in this window. The biggest, of course, with Osimhen 75 million euro move to Galatasaray, making him, joint highest African move at this window alongside Brandon Belmo to Manchester United. Other moves, of course, we saw Moses Simon move to Paris FC. We also saw Wilfred Ndidi move to Besiktas. His 8 million euro move was the third highest involving a Nigerian player, which is, I don't want to say is disappointing, but it is surprising because, for a country like Nigeria, considering how much talent we have, if players are going to move for 8 million euros, it should not be one of Nigeria's best players, Unfortunately, some of the moves that did not happen were just as big as some of the moves that did happen. And of course, I'm talking about Ademola Lookman, who tried with Inter, didn't work, tried with the Premier League, didn't work, tried with Bayern Munich, also didn't work. So that means, at least for now, he might be stuck in Atalanta unless there's a bid from, somewhere like Turkey or outside Europe, like Saudi Arabia. We also saw Chrysanthus Uche finally make a move to Crystal Palace. And although it's a loan for now, but I believe they do have an option obligation to buy him at the end of the season. So overall, it was, a middling, I think, transfer window for Nigerian players. Because apart from Osimhen and maybe Arokudari, we didn't really have, a lot of big moves in the market. One of the most valued Nigerian players in Victor Boniface could only secure a loan move to Werder Bremen in the lower rungs of the Bundesliga, which is disappointing considering his quality, considering, the hype around his talent and everything. So, I think his move really epitomized what the transfer window was like for Nigerian players, which is generally disappointing.
So I want to get an explanation on what do clubs think? Like, is the process for recruiting a Nigerian player, is it different? Maybe because of the hype, maybe because of the Super Eagles, especially in a calendar year that involves the Africa Cup of Nations. Like, what goes into saying, especially someone like Tolu Arokudari, you are putting a lot of money on him, and there's obviously the possibility of him being called up to the Super Eagles for the Africa Cup of Nations. How do they go about these decisions in these clubs?
I think it's a risk that they understand or they take. They know that if they are buying one of Nigeria's best players, most likely he will be going for the AFCON. But some of them see it as, it's just 1 month. And barring an injury during the tournament, the player most likely will come back to you and you go on. Teams have spells where some of their players are injured, but they still make it through because they have other players as well. I think in that regard, I think some teams who are heavily loaded with African players, rather, like Sunderland, for example, might be the ones to suffer it. Maybe they didn't really consider the AFCON when, thinking about their recruitment. But as far as Nigerian players go, yeah, it's normal to consider things like that. But at the end of the day, how good is the player is the number one question. Other things will come after.
And okay. Obviously, Nigeria, we know our ties with England. What is this sudden urge for Nigerian players to say, we want to go and test ourselves in the Premier League, knowing the physical demands of the Premier League? Look at someone like Samuel Chukwueze. If he couldn't live up to the hype and the expectations at AC Milan, despite the fact that AC Milan is a very big club, we know the physical demands of the Premier League. What makes Tolu Arokudari say, of all the options I have, I want to come to the Wolves in the Premier League? Chukwueze, I want to come to Fulham. Chrysanthus Uche, I want to come to. Is it because we speak English? Because English is not going to help you on the pitch, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we had an episode, I believe, the last episode, where we talked about how much money the Premier League is ready to spend. I think that definitely would be top of the list of most of these players'
So also
decisions.
wages are involved apart from transfer
Yes,
fee.
of course, wages are involved. I mean, some of the players are doubling or tripling their wages just by moving to English clubs. So, in addition to speaking English, because it does help, we can be honest about that. It does help.
With your performance?
Yes, it does. Communication is very, very important, and that's why sometimes you see a player move from one league to another and they struggle. It's not always necessarily because the one league is better than the other or anything like that. Sometimes it's just fitting in and adapting to the situation of the league, and language is one of those situations. So it plays a factor. It would not instantly make you a better player, of course, but it does play a factor. And I think besides that, I think the next biggest factor is how much are they willing to pay me. And English teams are willing to pay players, so it's not really surprising.
So of all the players that have moved the Nigerian players that have moved this season, if you are going to rank them in terms of like the expectations for their outputs and their deliverables, how will you rank them? Especially, I'm very, very curious to see your expectations for Samuel Chukwueze now that you said that language plays a role in performance.
But I think in terms of expectation, number one player has to also be the most expensive. So Victor Osimhen, he's already shown what he can do at Galatasaray, and I think now he would have to outdo that. Now that they've paid 75 million euros for him, the previous season was a loan, so they were, even when things were not really clicking at the start or at some point, they were willing to give him that grace. But now you have the club's record signing, you have the record signing of all time in Turkish league, so you have to deliver. So that's number one. I think Christian Tuzuche also has a lot to prove. We've seen him at Getafe, and he's now going to Crystal Palace, and it's like everyone has accepted now that he's a centre forward, which we know that he's not a centre forward. So I think he also has, a lot of expectation on his shoulders. Probably playing alongside Mateta up front, even though it's just a loan, although things most likely would progress to him getting signed. I also think Tola Rokudari at Wolves is also right up there because, Wolves paid a lot of money for him. And they're going to need to see immediate returns on that because Wolves, even though, yes, we agree that the Premier League is a rich league, Wolves are not among the richest, yet they still, forked out a large sum of money for Rokudari. So there's a lot of expectation on his shoulders as well. Who else? Wilfred Ndidi moving to Besiktas. I don't think he would have as much expectation as other players because the club is not in a good state at the moment. So they aren't really looking to him to do anything. They just want to improve and improve to a point where they can compete with the likes of Galatasaray, Fenerbahce. So finally, Chukwueze. I think it goes to say a lot that even after they signed Chukwueze, they were still interested in signing Raheem Sterling. And they also signed another winger from Shakhtar Donetsk, Kevin. So it just looks like a move to save his career more than a move to save Fulham. So the expectations for Chukwueze at Fulham are just to not have another AC Milan experience. And I think we'll be fine with that.
Hi guys, surprised to see me here. Well, I'm a financial forecaster, and you know that in an age now where players go for 100 million and above, the very first transfer fee was, well, in that range, just 100 pounds. This was back in 1896, Willie Groves, West Brom to Aston Villa. So I'm sending you back to Ayola and to sing for the next segment.
So welcome to the trivia segment of Money Talks. And Ayola have been going back and forth on this. No winner yet.
I won the last
no
one.
Winner yet. No winner yet.
Clearly
it's still very, very
one,
competitive.
but no other.
So ladies first, let's start.
Okay. What is the most money paid for a Nigerian player in football history?
That is very easy now. That's Victor Osimhen.
And how much?
Victor Osimhen, 75 million.
Victor Osimhen correct, but it's not 75 million. 81 million euros paid by Napoli to Lille for Victor Osimhen.
That 81 million is fluid.
But that's the official fluid. We know all the drama around it, but like officially, it's 1 million euros.
Okay, no wala. We go bar for bar. Who is the highest paid player in the NBA for the 2025-2026 season?
I think you said was Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum has the largest contract, 313 million.
Wow.
Over the next 5 years. Shai Gilgeous Alexander has the highest annual value, but the contract doesn't kick in until 27, 28. So the highest paid player for this season will be the great Steph Curry, about 62.6 million per year.
I should have known that. Who is the most expensive Nigerian defender of all time?
The most expensive Nigerian defender of all time. That should be Calvin Bassey.
Yeah, but which of his moves?
From Rangers to Fulham.
Actually Calvin Bassey, but it was actually from Rangers to Ajax. I'd have given you.
So is that what we want to do? I got 2 answers.
You've not gotten any, because this is what you did to me last time. So
okay. Let me give you a difficult one. Let me give you a difficult one.
Wow.
What did Everton pay to get the services of Super Eagles legend Joseph Yobo? The accurate fee. Don't give me estimated anything.
No, you give me some grace now, like a 5 million match.
If you are like 50k short, I will consider it.
Joseph Yobo to Everton, maybe like £4 million.
No. They recruited Joseph Yobo from Olympic Marseille for 6.2 million euros.
It's close enough.
Hey, Baba, that's 2.2 million different. Next question.
Okay. Who is the most expensive teenager in Nigerian football history?
Nigerian football history.
Of all time.
Of all time. It has to be John Obi Mikel. It has to be John Obi Mikel.
Does it?
It has to be like.
Yeah, but it isn't. Because it's actually Victor Osimhen. Again, 22 million euros to Lille from Charleroi.
He was 19 then?
Yes, he was 19. Right on the money.
I would have said Victor Osimhen, but like I thought like he signed for Wolves, but okay, no problem. Yeah. I'll go and fact check that.
I am not wrong.
I'll go and fact check that. Let me give you one final buzzer beater so that everybody goes home unhappy. Before Mohamed Salah, before Mamouche, there was an Egyptian king in the Premier League. His name was Mido. How much did Tottenham get paid to recruit the services of Mido?
I know he was, a big talent then. So Tottenham would have stretched their resources. I'm going to say £21 million.
No. Mido actually was brought in from Birmingham, I think in the early 2000s for estimated around 7 million.
Really?
Yeah.
That's unfortunately cheap.
Yeah, so Ojoro cancel Ojoro.
No, you good game. 0-0.
So we've come to the end of the trivia segment on Money Talks. Me and Ayola went back and forth. There's no winner. Ojoro cancel Ojoro. But that is it. We've been able to give you an explanation on Nigerian players in the transfer window, their expectations at their new clubs, and hopefully in the coming years we'll be getting to see some of them play for the biggest clubs.
Hopefully.
So that is it. My name is Tosin Abayomi.
This is Ayola Kelechi.
So this has been Money Talks. Like, subscribe, and thank you for watching.